Right, we're back, episode 2 of 2 for the Boxer card in Sheffield this Saturday night, the first UK show of the year. The headliner we're going to talk about in this one, Callum Simpson defending his British and Commonwealth Super Middleweight Championships against Steed Woodall. Both guys probably coming in off a career best win. I think it's fair to say Zach Chelly at Oakwell last time out on what was a fantastic card. We had McKenna and Laws on that one as well. It was a good show, that one. And Steed Woodall with an absolutely huge upset on a Wasserman card against Lerone Richards, who hasn't really been heard from since then. So he's got massive momentum behind him. If you look down Woodall's record as well, he's knockout defeat to Steve Rolls, who Gennady Golovkin fought a number of years ago as well. He spent most of his, although being from Birmingham, he spent a lot of his career out in the States. I think he debuted over there and spent a lot of his time before that. His more recent fights have been over here, it's fair to say. But Boxer are backing Callum Simpson, aren't they? You know, they gave him the stadium fight, although, you know, not one of the premier stadiums or anything like that. But they gave him a stadium fight. He delivered for them. He went out and beat Zach Chelly fairly decently. What do you think of this Woodall fight? I mean, you know, he probably earned it, to be fair, based on you know, he iced Lerone Richards, didn't he? It wasn't just, you know, he completely flatlined him. It was a sensational knockout. Do you think, you know, is he a worthy opponent? Do you think he gives Callum Simpson?
I mean, let's be real. I mean, he beat Boris Crichton, who's tough for anybody. I mean, we've seen Boris Crichton in there with the likes of Yard and Arthur. He lost to Padraig McCrory fairly convincingly, as convincingly as a points loss can be, and then iced Lerone Richards. So I mean, he's on a winning streak of 1. You know, I know Lerone Richards is or was at the time the next big thing in terms of prospects, but Lerone Richards is sort of flattered to deceive. He had the unbeaten record. He had a couple of decent wins on his record, but let's not pretend that Lerone
turned down the
Richards
Canelo on the card, didn't he? Then his career just went.
And I think he actually didn't he leave? I think he was with Dave Caldwell. I might be wrong. I think he left and then went back.
He went back for the Woodall fight. So Woodall was his first fight back with Dave,
and got absolutely flatlined. But as fought since then, I think he's had a couple of fights since then. So he's slowly but surely on the comeback. I might be wrong, but I could have sworn I've seen Lerone Richards fight since then.
No, he hasn't. No.
Who am I mixing Lerone Richards up with then?
No,
I thought he boxed up. No, he hasn't, has he?
No, he hasn't.
Right,
so
just go back 30 seconds and ignore what I've just said.
We'll edit it out, even though it's live.
but what I'm getting at is, you know, we can say he deserves it, but I mean, who else is there for Callum Simpson to fight? Really, there isn't anyone, is there? Really,
not British.
The Chelly win, you can say what you want about that. Chelly's a middleweight. You know, Chelly's a middleweight that floats around at super middle, and he's dipped in at 175, but he turned over at middleweight. He's had a majority of his fights at middle, super middle. So for me, Callum Simpson's a light heavyweight. I'm expecting him to beat the shit out of Woodall. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I don't think Woodall's anywhere near as good as what Callum Simpson is. I think Simpson's gonna go out there and try to put on a performance of his career. I think, as I've said on the previous video about Dubois, I think they're going to start the year off with a bang. I think Simpson's going to call for some of the big fights. I think it's about time he started calling for some of the big fights. If he can put on a statement win. I think this is his second headline, is it not?
Yeah.
In as many fights. Barnsley was the last one, which seemed to have a really good atmosphere. I was apprehensive about the Oakwell Stadium. I know it wasn't the full stadium, it was sort of like a corner, but the way it was shaped, the way they'd set it out, and it was rammed. I mean, he sells a lot of tickets, does Simpson. So I'm assuming, again, it'll be fairly full. There'll be a raucous South Yorkshire crowd, and I'm expecting him to put on a bit of a beat down, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your original question, Sam, of does Woodall deserve to fight? Well, Richards and Woodall was eliminated for the British title. So if you go for that, then he won the eliminator.
Probably does deserve it then.
He won the eliminator. He's got the shot. If looking at the British rankings, above people that they're putting above Callum, the only person above Callum Simpson is Zach Parker, who's fighting Willie Hutchinson at light heavyweight next month. So if you go off of that, then he deserves it. I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Callum Simpson, I think no one knows where his ceiling is. He's another one of these fighters with boxer that has seized the opportunity of the fact that Boxer picked up the Sky contract, and he's taken the moment, and he's had a couple of. He was on the Kell Brook Amir Khan card. He was on one of the Liam Smith Eubank Jr. cards. You know, he's had his fights, and he's sort of taken his moment. And Oakwell was his big moment, wasn't it? You know, Zach Chili was the champion. He's gone in there with saying he's going to smash up and show that his levels above Callum Simpson. Simpson delivered very emphatically.
A lot bigger than him, though. I think Simpson's are like everywhere. I know
the only thing that was missing for that performance at Oakwell was probably a stoppage. If we're going to be really critical, he dominated Chile that much. The only thing missing from it was a stoppage. Still don't know where his ceiling is, but if we're really honest, Woodall 19-2-1. He's probably fringe British level, whereas you can make an argument that Callum's already pushing towards European level.
This is Woodall's cup final on Saturday night. This is his, end goal. And that's not being disrespectful to him at all. That's just how it is. Whereas Callum Simpson's got much further aspirations than British and Commonwealth level. So there is a difference in mindset that way. That could make Woodall dangerous, in my opinion. But, that's just the way it is, isn't it?
What is it to Richie? Is it his son?
Not sure.
I think they are related.
But he's from Birmingham. That's where Richie's from. So he might be.
I think there is a connection. Let's have a look.
But yeah, look, I'll kick off the predictions then, boys. I think Callum Simpson's going to win a UD. There's a hint of a late stoppage for me, but I'm going to go with what I think was Woodall only been stopped once to Steve Rolls. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rolls was a decent enough fighter. He actually hurt Golovkin. I know it was at the tail end of Golovkin's career, but I'm going to go with a Callum Simpson UD. Big up Hawkan. Hope you're well, my friend.
Thanks, boss.
Happy New Year to you as well, Hawkan. For me, Callum Simpson, fairly wide UD, boys.
I think Callum Simpson's going to get him out of there. I think he's going to beat him up, break him down, and probably stop him around 6 or 7. I think we'll get to the midpoint. I think Woodall's going to come out all guns blazing. As you said, it's his cup final. This is his opportunity to I know that he had the Lerone Richards win, but he sort of stagnated after that. It was,
he hasn't fought. He hasn't fought since Richards.
So it hasn't really been the springboard that was expected from that. So I expect him to come out all guns blazing, but I think Simpson will be expecting that. He'll tuck in, keep his defences nice and tight for a couple of rounds, and then I think it is additional weight because I think he's significantly bigger than him. I think that'll start to take a toll, sort of 3, 4, 5, and then by 6 or 7, I think Woodall will have shot his bolt, and I think we see Simpson get him out of there. I think we'll see the kind of performance we should have seen in the Chelle fight, because you could see that after 5 or 6 rounds in the Chelle fight, you could see that Simpson had the edge. He just couldn't find the openings to get him out of there. Chelle's tough, and took some great shots, but I think we will see a different, a more spiteful Simpson. I don't think he'll play with his food as much in this fight, and I think I'm going for a 7th. I think I said 7th round stoppage.
Oh, there we go. Just as you said, that Hawkan typed it into the chat. Great minds think alike, as they say. Yeah. What do we think, Liam?
Yeah, no, I do. On the same sort of wavelength as Jay. I mean, the Richards fight for Woodall, he was down on the cards. I know, look, you land a punch like that, you stop your opponent, you win the fight, but he was getting outboxed. So there's a template there very nicely for Callum Simpson to show that you can outbox Woodall. And it's not even a complicated game plan. It's working the head and body in, it's moving side to side. It's not giving him straight lines to feed off of. And we know Callum Simpson's a very good fighter at doing that. Zach Chille's, if you give him go forward, you just go back in straight lines. That's how he picks you off. That's how he got the best of Jack Cullen, etc. So I'd like to think Simpson's going to get a stoppage. Look, Boxer are involved in these big Saudi cards now. Callum Simpson's seen what's happened with fighters getting last-minute opportunities when they're not quite on the level. Mm-hmm. He makes a statement on Saturday. I'm not saying
himself right in the mix.
Puts himself right in the mix. Whether that's getting a European title fight in the summer, whether that's getting an opportunity on a Saudi card to, further enhance.
I'll give you one. Sorry.
Go on.
Callum Simpson, Ben Whittaker.
Yeah.
Or Callum Simpson, Liam, hard done by. Everybody's against me. Woe is me, Cameron.
Do you think, just off topic before we wrap up?
Sorry.
Are we going to see Whittaker Cameron too?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to have to.
Tell you what, let's talk about that on No Punches Pulled tomorrow, because we might be tight for stuff. Yeah, that's going to be a good talking point. Sorry, Liam.
No. Look, Simpson is there to make an opportunity now. To coin what Jay just said. He can't afford another fight against this level of opponent where he plays with his food for 12 rounds.
No.
If he's as dominant as he was in August again on Saturday night, I want to see him get a stoppage. I want to see him put his foot down. That's the reality. He's beyond this level. For me, I don't know where his ceiling is, but I'd happily see him in a European level at this weight class without a shadow of a doubt. I don't feel too apprehensive about seeing it, but I feel a lot better saying that if he gets a stoppage on Saturday night rather than, a 10 rounds to 2, 11 rounds to 1 unanimous decision.
Can I ask you guys a question? So do you think that Callum Simpson will stay at super middle, or do you think we will see him up at 175? Do you think
I'm not. Depends on the opportunities, probably.
Only if he loses for me, mate. I don't think he moves up until he loses at this point. He's one of those fighters. I think he's on such a roll at the moment with what he's doing at this weight. He's only going to move up if he loses.
I just can't see how he gets to 168 without drama.
Boiling down.
He looks a natural 175 for me. I'm pretty sure he's boxed at 175 at some stage, but I just think I think he'd suit. I think his frame suits 175, and I can see. I know the belts are sort of tied up, but I can just see an easier route to bigger fights for him at 175. Domestically at 175 compared to
175
168. 10 years ago at 168. We had all the Groves, the Gales, Junior, Frotch, etc. All them are gone now. Super middleweight in the UK is not a massive division.
It's not.
So yeah, I'm interested to see him moving forward. But as you guys said, I think we need a big performance, don't we, Saturday night?
We sure do.
Mate, he's fought as high. He's fought as high as 181. He's weighed in for a fight before Simpson.
Yeah, so I knew I'd seen him up past 168 before, and I think his frame suits it. And it depends, like you said, it depends how much he depletes himself, and then he can use that as an excuse if he does lose eventually at 168, like you say, Liam. But I would like to see him move up eventually. I just think there's a better pathway to bigger fights for him.
He's done 168 since Celus Naves, which was on the which was on the Lawrence Okoli David Light card, so back in 2023. So he's done it for 6 fights now. But before then, he was sort of going between catch weights for every fight. He was either 180 or 177.5. He was never.
So they've possibly seen a gap for him.
Yeah, I think that's what boxers
let's go at 168. Do you know what I mean? Because it looks as though he's a natural 175, doesn't it? And they've just made him boil down to 168, which is great if you can do it, but does catch up with you eventually. Especially
how long can you do it for?
Yes, exactly. That's it. The weight cuts become harder with age for sure. So yeah, the three of us are picking Simpson then, boys.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, stoppage for me. Points for you, Sam, was it?
Yeah, I've gone decision.
What about you, Liam? What did you say?
I said stoppage, mate. I expect it. Second half of the fight, similar to what you said, mate. I think it's going to take him time to break Woodall down. He's going to be wary of that massive right hand because of the damage he's seen it do to Richards. But Simpson, somewhere between 7 and 9, I'll go for.
Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah, definitely. Cheers for that, boys. We'll be back tomorrow then. No punches pulled. We'll go into the fights a little bit further detail. Any news that's floating about, and Jai Pattaya watch along Wednesday late morning, I believe, as well. Catch us for that, and everyone have a good evening, including you too.
See you.